Hey, hello, this is Shah with the podcast Thrive, Not Survive After Child Abuse. Yeah, if you have been or tried to listen to my podcast yesterday, then unfortunately I have to say something went wrong with the audio. So my apologies for that. So I'm reshooting this podcast. And yesterday we talked about, the most important thing to achieve anything is actually tenacity, is keep going. As I always say, the enthusiasm when you took the decision to do something has been long gone, right? So often when we come up with a plan, then we are super enthusiastic about it and we can't wait to start. But then we have to follow through is actually what's the harder thing, right? I did a little series on New Year's resolutions and how to set goals and how to achieve your goals. And the main point there is often when we make a New Year's resolution, we formulate it as actually the end result. So the example that I always give is, or one of the examples that I always give is, say you want to lose 50 pounds. And if you want to lose 50 pounds, that's the end result you want to have. You want to be 50 pounds lighter. That is actually not how you achieve things. You have to do something daily, until you reach that end result of losing those 50 pounds. And if you don't formulate what you need to do daily, or on a very regular basis, you will find that you actually never achieve, or most of the time don't achieve those results that you are after. So that's probably the reason why most people already give up on January 14, on their New Year's resolutions. So here's the tip that we talked about. If you have a New Year resolution, and I hope you do, that you're not discouraged of what happened in 2020, but if you have a New Year's resolution, just make sure that you break it down in smaller goals and be able so that makes it a lot easier for you actually to achieve the things that you want to achieve. But there is of course more to it than that, right? So losing 50 pounds, for instance, getting more fit, get a more thriving business. Let's say you want to make $100,000 this year. Those are not small goals, and I like it when you take big goals. But if you're not so used to setting goals and achieving things, and this is the first time that you actually start to do that, maybe you listen to a coach like Tony Robbins or maybe myself. We always talk about, setting your goals, going after what you want, and so on and so on. But if it's the first time you do, then the moment that you formulate those goals, you're very enthusiastic, right? You want to change your life, you want to maybe start a new business, you want to, build stronger relationships, all these things that we talk about when we do this life coaching sessions. And most of us, including myself, we're pretty good in, motivating people really well and hard to achieve these things. Now, that's all good and well, but often we take then too big of a goal. So as with all things in life, reaching goals and achieving things is a skill. It's a skill set. Yeah. And so if you want to run a marathon, you don't put your running shoes on and immediately start to go after those 43 kilometers. You start to run and take smaller steps in life, right? You start to maybe run every day first, half a mile. And then after a week or two, you start to do 2 miles and so on and so on. I'm not sure. I'm not a marathon runner, so I'm not sure if that's the way how you build it up, but you know what I mean, right? You start with smaller achievements first, and then you are ready and build confidence and strength to do the longer goal. So that's a very smart way to the two. So be very honest to yourself. If you let's say new in achieving big things, then maybe it's a good time to change that, which I'm all for it. but let's also build up your skills to do that. And it goes actually really faster than you think, right? The other day I said most people overestimate what they can do in a day, but they underestimate what they can do in a year. So that's the second thing I want to say, right? So the first thing is, formulate your goals not in the end result, but formulate it in goals that you can do every day. The second thing that I meant is, be very honest in how well you are, equipped and skilled and competent in reaching goals. So you might want to, bring that to the level that where you are at. So if you're kind of new in this, formulate your goals formulate smaller goals and build up that skill of achievement. And then the last thing I want to talk about, and it's the title of this podcast, is tenacity, right? You need to be able to push through things and be willing to be uncomfortable, right? Because changes that you make, more likely than not, they make you feel uncomfortable. So you want to lose 50 pounds, right? You have to change your eating habits. And sometimes it means you eat less or you stop eating at all the things that you really like, right? And it's not always the case, but that could be the case, right? You want to go and be more fit. You maybe have to push a little bit through, some exercise barriers that you haven't done. Push harder weights, run longer miles, maybe run longer. So what have you not, right? You want to achieve more in business, right? Maybe you need to make longer hours in the beginning. Maybe you need to rethink your plans. So all these kind of things make you very uncomfortable, right? So that is tenacity. The other things that comes into play is if you are after those goals, be also okay that in the beginning you're not so good at it, right? So let me give you an example. If you want to be a high performer on stage, let's say you're a dancer, at some point in time you have to perform that. Well, I can guarantee you the first time that you do your first performance, it probably doesn't look as good as the professionals that you maybe are looking at, right? So all these things, and a lot of people have that shame that they say, oh, I'm not good enough, and therefore I quit. No, you're not good enough yet. I always say, if I talk, about myself, it's not the current Jean that can achieve those high-level goals that I'm after, but the future Jean can. But I have to start build the future Jean today. So a good time to start was maybe 20 years ago, but the second best time to start is today. So don't be discouraged if you need to build up skills. Don't be discouraged if you're a little bit enthusiastic about reaching your goal. That's why you need to write them down so you can actually remind yourself why you go after something, and so you need to remotivate yourself every day, right? Motivation is like taking a bath, right? You don't do that once, you do that at least once a day, right? So this was Jean with the podcast Thrive, Not Survive After Child Abuse. I hope to hear you back tomorrow with another episode. Bye-bye.